Well, climate change reparations. This seems to be a new idea being thrown around. Of course, the Labour Party seem to have a fetish for finding new ways to spend British taxpayers' money and give it away, hammer everyone with higher taxes. Now, I must say, Ed Miliband's one of those politicians who, every time he goes on TV and says anything, pretty much every single time, I disagree with what he says. And he was back on the BBC, of course, talking about this prospect of climate change reparations. And this is what he had to say.
Just to go back to COP, part of the debate is going to be about the richer part of the world paying the poorer part of the world to help them deal with carbon costs. And some people even call it reparations. Essentially, wealthy countries ought to be giving money to countries that are finding the impact of climate change very profound and difficult. Would a Labour government pay reparations to developing countries for climate change?
I don't see it as about reparations. And actually, when you talk to lots of campaigners, they don't either. This is about the issue of so-called loss and damage. This is the fact that poorer countries are facing massive effects of climate change. You know, we see it all around the world.
And we can quibble about the terminology.
Well, no, the terminology matters because lots of people are allergic to the term reparations.
Our viewers will want to know also if a Labour government would transfer large amounts of cash to the developing world, including to China. Would Labour give money to China?
It's not about China, no, it's not about China.
So
I don't think China isn't necessarily asking for money. Look, this is about poorer countries that are on the front line of the climate crisis. Pakistan had these disastrous floods recently, 30% of the country underwater. So this is about global solidarity. I mean, yes, we have some historical responsibility, but this is about global solidarity, and it's absolutely part of our aid commitment. You know, we don't think the government was right to cut the 0.7 aid commitment.
But so you would, just to be clear, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but to be clear, a Labour
absolutely,
government would
it's about supporting poorer countries, completely right. And let me just say, it's morally right, Laura, but it's also in our self-interest too. Because if we don't act and if we don't help countries around the world, we're going to end up with the problems that countries face in terms of refugees, for example, coming back onto us.
Except that China is part of the group of countries that is asking for loss and damage, to use the COP terminology.
We should recognise loss and damage, absolutely.
Including for a country with as much money for China.
It's not about giving money to China. I promise you, Laura, it's not about giving money to China. That's not what this is about. This is about countries like the Maldives, like Pakistan and others. And we have aid commitments. Now, unfortunately, the government has resigned from many of our aid commitments, but it is absolutely about recognising our moral responsibility.
So obviously quite a bit of backlash against the prospect, particularly in the current economic conditions, of funneling even more money abroad. Of course, we've had an absolutely, in my view, ridiculously large foreign aid budget giveaway for many years now. You see GB News reacting to this Labour demand to send cash abroad to pay for climate change reparations. Mail front page there. Red Ed, UK must pay climate change damages. The likes of Nigel Farage slamming this. Says it shows people on the left lost their marbles, which is all well and good and everything. But then it came out after this that the government, the Conservative government, Rishi Sunak's government, are actually considering this. The Telegraph report that Britain has opened the door to paying climate change reparations. The UK negotiators backed a last-minute agreement to address loss and damage payments, and that Rishi Sunak will apparently pledge £65.5 million for green technology in developing countries. As with Liz Truss, you know, I want to give Rishi Sunak a fair crack and give him the benefit of the doubt, but can we see some Conservative policies, please? Because particularly in the current economic circumstances where we're looking at higher energy bills, we're looking at higher taxes, the idea of giving even more money away abroad, I think, is out of touch with not just the public mood, but out of touch with reality. Let me know what you make of that prospect, guys. Would you support this Labour and potentially Conservative proposal of the UK paying climate change reparations or not? I will keep bringing you the very latest, so please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.